So in this video, I wanted to bring you guys a comparison between the original Air Max Tailwind IV and the Supreme collaboration, which marks the very first retro of the Tailwind IV since its origination. What is going on, guys? Hess here, CollectiveKicks.com. If you guys want to shop this week's top sneaker deals, check the link in the description, and happy shopping. I'm excited to show you guys this comparison. This might be one of those videos that I personally have been anticipating for years now, because I personally have been waiting to see a retro of this shoe right here. Now, this isn't my favorite colorway of the Tailwind IV, but this is one of the OG colorways that I used to have, and then I ended up getting a dead stock pair back in my collection years later. And it's just one of those fantastic looking shoes that I loved back in the day. I personally am excited that Nike's finally retroed the Air Max Tailwind. The very first flavor of the Tailwind, however, is in the most hypebeast fashion possible with a Supreme collaboration. So this is a look at the collaboration. This is a look at the original. There's definitely a lot of big differences between these two, and I'm excited to see an original one release again. Let's go ahead and show you guys some of the similarities and differences between the original and the retro. This is going to be my first look at these side by side, so I honestly don't know what to expect. So hopefully we'll see a lot of cool things, and if I don't point them out in the video, I'll leave a comment in the comment section so other people can see. Fundamentally, these shoes look pretty much the same. There's a couple things on the upper that are totally different. Start off with the soles though. The bottom ones are the Supremes, the tops are the OGs. And you could see it looks pretty good. It looks really similar. Obviously, the Supreme version, they just went with an all white and gray sole, so it looks really not too interesting. The original one, though, you could see little hits of yellow here, which was kind of cool, and the little arcs right here are blue. So they added a lot to make the shoe look a little bit different, and I don't know, I like the overall look of this one. Down here, you have the blue and then the little orange pad back here, and then on the Supreme version, it's just all white and gray. It does have the MX Air on it for Max Air, and it does even have this information back. Oh, it looks like they changed it. So on the original pair is actually right here. It does say 25 PSI, and it does say it here also, but on the retro, there is no 25 PSI. On the back here, though, it does say dual pressure heel, BRS 1005 PSI. And then on the retro pair, it does say the dual pressure heel, BRS 1000, but it doesn't say 5 PSI. So there is a difference, obviously, here, because it says 25, 25, and 5 PSI for the different little sections. So they did have that clearly spelled out. So obviously, the PSI is not the same. And if actually you look at the air bubbles, that's really interesting that I saw that, because if you look here, you can see a split down the middle of the air bubble. But on the new versions, they don't have that split down the middle. So the air bubble on the originals definitely are a lot bigger here than on the retros, which is kind of unfortunate. Anyways, as you move your way around the midsole, you can see a lot of cracking and stuff right around here. Colorings are obviously totally different, but one thing that I liked about the Tailwinds from back in the day, they took the piping theme around the shoe and continued it down the midsole, so it looks like a big, huge like design that's like all one shape. And then on the Supreme one, obviously they didn't do that. It would have been cool to see this crazy like goldish piping though in the midsole, but they didn't extend that down. On the side of the shoe though, there is no big, huge Nike branding. As you can see here, they do have the little swoosh on the back. That is the Nike branding. And then as you move your way to the back, you could see that they have the Nike swoosh here and here. And this one is a lot bigger than the one on the retro. Instead of the Air Max on the OG, you do have the Supreme that comes down the side of the shoe. The back tab looks really very similar to the OG, which I think is a nice added touch there. As you can see on the inside of the shoe, there's no Nike branding visible. So looking at the tongue, it does have the Air Max branding. On the original ones though, it is like plastic overlay, and then on the Supreme ones, it is embroidered. And speaking of embroidery, that's where this changes the most. The embroidered ribs on the side of the Supreme one look totally different, and then also the underlay here is a really crazy knit with a bunch of textured yarn or fabric or whatever in the middle of the Supreme right here, versus the originals have that mesh underlay, and then it has these plastic ribs that have a variegation from black to clear, and that's something that I always love to see. They always would play out with those and change colors and stuff like that. On the insoles of the originals, you see Max Air. On the Supreme one, you have the Supreme Nike branding. And that's kind of a look at these side by side. There's definitely some similarities and differences between these. It actually does say, this is actually dope. I never noticed this before, but it does say T4 on the toe section right there, which is a prime indicator these are Tailwind 4s. That is dope. I couldn't find anything that said the branding of the original ones, that why these were the Tailwind 4s. And the reason why I say that is because if you look at the box, the OG box, it just says Air Tailwind. It doesn't say anything about it being a Tailwind 4. So back then they didn't do as good a branding as they do now. And this is a Supreme box, as you can see here, and it does say Air Max Tailwind 4. But I think it's kind of cool to see Nike bring out another shoe from the vault and have it available for us to be able to consume again, especially for older dudes like myself. But I'm sure there's a lot of younger dudes out there, maybe some of you guys actually really want a pair of Tailwinds and like the overall look of the shoe. Personally, I think it looks great. It's something that I'm excited to see more of, but hopefully not too much. Again, Nike has a way of overdoing it and then just saturating the market with colorways and stuff when they're just not really necessary. But hopefully they can do something fun with it. It's nice to see a fun collab from Supreme, even though it wasn't the home run that a lot of people wanted. And personally, I was kind of on the fence. Honestly, I wouldn't have bought these if they had the originals already dropped, but since they haven't had an original drop yet, I wanted to go ahead and at least get a pair of the Tailwinds in the new retro vibe in hand, and not bad. It actually looks better in hand than I thought it would have. The sides of the shoe with the knit and the embroidery I think is actually kind of a cool touch. Different, but kind of cool. But I'm hoping they come up with some really cool OG colorways for us once again. But that is a video comparison between the originals and the new Supreme versions. Leave a comment. Let me know, did you guys buy a pair of these or not? Is it something that you guys are not interested in? Or yeah, just curious. Let me know what you guys think. And that's pretty much all we have. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you guys are new to the channel, notification bell to be notified of when the videos go live. Have a great rest of the day, and we will catch you guys for some more sneaker videos soon. Peace, guys.